What is up, everybody? We are back with Sports Investing 101. I had to take last weekend off because let me tell you, I have not had a green Sunday in a very, very long time. That being said, the bets I've given out in these sports investing videos have been spot on. I'm 62% through 3 videos. I'm 10-6 overall. Pretty damn good. Most sharp bettors try to aim for around 60%. Let me lay down the rules again. In case you're new here, welcome, like, subscribe. If you're new here, these are the rules. No parlays. Stay away from the promos. Don't chase bets. Those are 3 rules I just have simply not been following. Not even a little bit. Like you need to be disciplined, and I'm not disciplined. If I just took the bets that I said on here every week, I would be positive. I would have 3 green Sundays, or no, 2 of my last 3 Sundays would have been green. But I just don't do that. The promos get me. They sucker me in. I see crazy parlay numbers, I do it. I lose a few bets, I start chasing. I'm just so addicted that if I don't have action on a game, I can't enjoy it. And that's bad. So if you're new to gambling, don't be like me. You know, this is a good old fashioned do as I say, not as I do. Needed to take a break last week. I mean, I still didn't. I had a little bit of action, but not a lot. And I needed to just regroup, reset. NBA was back like really in full swing at the start of last week too. So we had action every single day. It's just not acceptable. But I will tell you one thing. I will be better. I will be the best gambler on the face of the planet when it's all said and done because I love this shit. You know, it's Halloween weekend here in Morgantown, West Virginia. For those of you that don't know, that is the town where West Virginia University, that's where the West Virginia University is one of the biggest party schools on the planet. Let me tell you, it does live up to the hype. Halloween weekend. Where am I? Placing bets. I had friends texting me yesterday, hey, come to this party, blah, blah, blah. No, I can't. I'm placing bets. Tonight, hey, come to this party. What are you being for Halloween? No, I can't. I'm busy. I'm placing bets. You know, this is what I do, and I love it. I love it. There is no better feeling than watching your bet just absolutely, when you're right about it and you tell everybody about it, you put all your friends onto a bet and it smacks. It's the best feeling in the world. Watching that Noah Brown Hail Mary from last weekend, knowing that I thought my parlay was cooked. Don't do parlays though, but just don't do parlays. But I thought my parlay was cooked. I'm laying over there, that bed right there. I'm like, fuck. Another red weekend. Doink. Tyreek Stevenson, you clown. Noah Brown, Hail Mary to save the parlay. Which ended up losing because I had Cowboys money line. Should have cashed out. You live and you learn, you know. But feelings like that, that's why we gamble. I will get good at this. Like anything you do in life, the more you do it, the better you get. All it takes is practice. They're not losses, they're lessons. Let's lock into this week's slate. There's a few bets that I like. Let's start off with the Atlanta Falcons -3.5 at home. Since week 4, they have the highest EPA, which I'm not even sure what that means, but it's like estimated points added or some shit. It's what all the nerds like to use. All the football stat nerds like to use. Since week 4, their offense is the 5th highest EPA. Their run game has been absolutely unstoppable. Bijan Robinson's been averaging like 5 yards a carry for over the last like 4 weeks. And they're playing the Dallas Cowboys. Now, if you take a look over here at the screen, let's go to team defense. Where are we at? NFL total team defensive stats. We'll go to rushing yards per game. Look who it is. Once it loads. Look who it is. Dallas Cowboys, 154 yards a game. And now you're thinking game script, yada, yada, yada. They have been losing a lot. They have been down in games a lot. But if we go over here to our, team offense. Bear with me. Yards per attempt. Dallas Cowboys. 4.8 yards per attempt. Micah Parsons is out. Deron Bland is also out. Not that really matters. Well, no, it does matter. That helps the game script. They're not going to have anybody to cover Darnell Mooney, who's been a godsend as a wide receiver 2 in this Kirk Cousins offense, which Kirk Cousins does feed his wide receiver 2s, and Drake London, who's been an absolute beast as well. Nobody on the outside of this Dallas Cowboys. Trayvon Diggs can't guard everybody, you know? Not that he's the greatest in man coverage either. He's solid, obviously. He's a great corner, all-pro corner. But he's not the greatest man cover guy. Line him up outside. Good luck guarding them, but the Falcons are going to get up early in this one, and they're going to run the fuck out of the ball behind this stout offensive line, one of the best run games in the NFL over the last 5 weeks. I think it's all Atlanta, and I think it's all Bijan Robinson. This Falcons team matches up so well with this Cowboys team. It's in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Am I an idiot? That's where the Saints play. Am I crazy? Who plays there? Is that where I think that's where the Saints play. No, I was right. All right. It's at home. It's in Atlanta, Georgia. I love the Falcons in this game. The Falcons' weakest point defensively, their weakest unit defensively, is their edge rushers, their pass rush. They're last in the NFL in sacks. But the Cowboys' weakest unit offensively is their offensive line. So I feel like that bodes well because there's more of a chance that this Falcons team will get a pass rush going. Like, there's more of a chance. And if the Cowboys aren't on the field, which they won't be, because this Falcons run game is dominant, then it doesn't really matter. And it's been a lot of Dak to CD. All right, I deposited. We're back. Let's lock in. First play of the day. I'm gonna buy a point on it though, because although I am very confident in this Falcons team, they match up well. Like I mentioned, one of the best run games in the NFL since Week 4, 5th in EPA since Week 4. No Micah Parsons, no Deron Bland, so I think they'll be able to get vertical offensively. I think the passing game, which has been great with Kirk since he's gotten his feet underneath him in this offense. I don't think the Cowboys have the guys on the outside to cover Drake London, Kyle Pitts, who's come into his own, and Darnell Mooney, who's been a revelation as a wide receiver too in this offense. They don't have the guys on the outside to cover them, which I think will indicate a lot of points being scored early, leaning on this run game that's been a top 5 unit. PFF has Bijan Robinson graded as the highest rated running back over the past 4 weeks. They're going to get up early on these weak corners. The Cowboys have the second worst run defense in the NFL in terms of yards per game. They're allowing almost 5 yards a carry. Bijan's averaging 5 yards a carry over the past 4 weeks. So they're going to get up early. They're going to run the piss out of the ball. Bijan over. They're going to take care of business nice and easily. That being said, though, I am worried about this Falcons pass rush, although I do think it's a decent matchup for them behind a weak Cowboys offensive line. But if Dak has time, we know what he can do. He was second, third in MVP voting last year. CeeDee Lamb still an all-pro wide receiver, top 3-4 wide receiver in the NFL. So the Cowboys offense can produce points, and they've been scoring a lot in the fourth quarter. So I am scared of a little bit of a backdoor cover, which is why we're going to take Atlanta Falcons. We're going to buy the points. We're going to buy a point, minus 2.5. We'll see what it is. Atlanta Falcons minus 2.5. It's only 140, so we'll take 3. We'll take minus 3 then. We're not buying as much, but I'd rather push than Atlanta win by just a field goal and I lose because of a half point. Like, that's just stupid to me. Okay. One more thing on this Falcons game, which we actually might circle back to because there's a bet that I have in my mind, but I've done a bunch of research on a different pick. 2 picks actually in the same game that I love. The money is on the spread money anyway. Is on the Cowboys, but it's not enough to really sway me either way. I mean, 70% of the spread money is a decent amount. So that honestly just verifies how, like, it just amplifies my urge to hammer the Falcons. Now, Josh Allen owns the Miami Dolphins. If you'll take a look to the screen here. This is Josh Allen's career versus the Dolphins. Earlier this year, he was blowing them out. They didn't really need to do much. They ran the ball well, and it was over by the third quarter. He didn't need to air the ball. He only attempted 19 passes. That's the lowest amount he's passed against the Dolphins in his career. Keep that in mind. The past 5 times he's played the Dolphins, he's had at least 2 passing touchdowns and over 240 yards. His line is at 242. And when I first saw that, I was like, okay, why is it that low? And it makes a little bit of sense because the Dolphins' passing defense has actually been top 5 this season. But when we take a look at the QBs that they have played, Trevor Lawrence, week 1, he only had 150 or so passing yards. Good win by the Dolphins. The Jags were up 17-3 in that game. The game script did not need Trevor Lawrence to pass the ball. The Dolphins weren't winning until the last possession of that game. Bills game, Tua got hurt, Josh Allen blew him out. Seahawks, Geno still threw for 280. Titans, Will Levis. Patriots, was it still Jacoby? Or was it Drake? Either way, it doesn't matter. Jacoby Brissett against the Patriots. Anthony Richardson's on there. He stinks. Last week against Arizona, Kyler threw for 300 yards. The reason their passing stats are so inflated is because, 1, the game script, with Tua out, they've been playing from behind. Teams are just running the ball more. And 2, the QBs they play stink. Anthony Richardson, what did he go? Because they have one of the best, or one of the lowest completion percentages allowed, the Dolphins do, in the NFL. Anthony Richardson went 10 for 24. Their passing defense numbers are absolutely inflated. We look at how Josh Allen absolutely cooks. the Miami Dolphins. He's 11-2 in his career against the Dolphins. He's thrown for at least 240, basically 250. We'll say he's thrown for at least 249 yards in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 out of his last 6 games. Script made it so that he didn't have to do that. The only thing that worries me about this play is that the Bills might blow them out again, because they were blowing them out with a healthy Tua before Tua went down and ran headfirst into Damar Hamlin. He's also thrown for at least 2 touchdowns. So the 2 plays in this game, it's Josh Allen's day. Over 242.5 passing yards, gone over that in 5 out of his last 6 against the Dolphins, and over 1.5 touchdowns. He's gone over that in every single game he's ever played against the Miami Dolphins his entire career. I think all of those points are valid. Maybe I'm forgetting something, but Josh Allen owns this team. MVP season, Josh. Taking care of the ball. That means he's getting more possessions than he usually would. More opportunities for the ball. It's all Josh Allen against this Miami Dolphins team. Take his passing yards. Take his over touchdowns. Single unit plays. Okay, the next play I like is something I have been taking almost every single week all season long. It is the wide receiver 1 against the Washington Commanders over receiving yards. This has gone over in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the 8 games the Commanders have played. The wide receiver 1 on the opposing team has gone over their receiving yards. The only 2 that didn't were DJ Moore and Marvin Harrison Jr. Their secondary stinks. The last time Malik Nabers played this Commanders team, he went off. 10 catches, 127 yards, 1 touchdown. I think he had like 17 targets or something in this game. I'll check real quickly. 18 targets versus the Commanders. The first time they played him, the secondary is still not very good. This has been feeding families all season long. The Giants suck. Daniel Jones sucks. Actually, the Giants don't suck. They're a scrappy team, and they play very solid red zone defense. That team bends, they don't break, and the Commanders have shown struggles in the red zone this season, particularly last week against the Bears. And the first time that they played the Giants, they beat them without scoring a touchdown. However, they're better. The Commanders are better. Jaden Daniels is the truth. They're going to be winning in this game. The Giants are going to be throwing the ball, and they need to throw the ball to their best player on their team, or best player on their offense. Sexy Dexy's a dog. Best player on their offense, Malik Nabers, over 70.5 rushing or receiving yards. My main point is, I said before the season, I'm going to be feasting off wide receiver 1s when they're taking on the Washington Commanders. It's 6 for 8 off a down week 2 where Caleb Williams did not look like anything like the number 1 pick or the guy we saw at USC for the first 3 quarters. Rome Odunze was leading receiver with like 50 yards. Give me Malik Nabers. Guy's a dog. He's going to get his targets. 3 weeks now, back after the injury, after the concussion. He's going to be all the way back in. Commanders secondary sucks. It's all Malik Nabers over receiving yards, 70.5, single unit. Book it. Now, there is also something in this game that is disgusting. There's something in this Giants-Commanders game that is absolutely filthy. Like, filthy in a bad way. Like, it's just one of those plays you just don't want to do it. If you take a look at this line here, you think to yourself, why the fuck is it only 4 points? The Commanders have been beasts this season. Jaden Daniels has turned that franchise around. But it's only a 4-point spread, divisional game in MetLife. The Giants have been scrappy. They've been hanging around. They're not an easy out by any stretch of the imagination. Dable has those guys playing hard. Their just quarterback play has been atrocious. Why is it only 4, though? And that's such a sucker pick. Whatever you do, don't take the Commanders -4. They might blow them out by 30, but do not take the -4. That's such a sucker play. When I was perusing my Pick'It, download Pick'It, by the way, if you want to see what the public's on. 80% of the spread is on the Commanders. 97% of the money line. This is the sucker bet of the week. I'm taking the Giants plus the 4 points strictly off vibes. This is a strictly vibes play. The public's all over them. The spread shouldn't be that close. If we learned anything from this Thursday night football game where the Jets beat the Texans, it's that Vegas knows something, obviously. I mean, if that's obvious. But it was never more evident when the Jets were favored by 2.5 points against a Texans team that's 6-3 when the Jets were on a 5-game losing streak. They're favored? That spread had no business being where it was. That's because they knew something. Same thing with this spread. There's no reason at all why the Commanders should be favored by less than a touchdown. But here they are, only 4-point favorites. And what I love about that 4 is that it's not 3. It's not a field goal either. The Giants, like the Commanders could win by a field goal and the Giants cover. Like 3 points is huge in football. Give me the Giants +4 normal unit size. It's a gross bet. You got to go where Vegas doesn't want you to go. Betting on the Giants is disgusting, obviously. But you got to bet where Vegas doesn't want you to go, and that's Giants +4. Okay, the next play that I love, is A.J. Brown's longest reception. It is a big number, but it's over 26 and a half. The reason I love this play, number one, the Jaguars have given up the second most yards after the catch in the NFL. What does A.J. Brown do? He breaks tackles. Now, I thought to myself, okay, let's go through the Jaguars' last few games. Let's see what the longest catch of some of their weapons has been. Alec Pierce, longest reception, 65 yards. They had Michael Pittman with 27, too. That's over A.J. Brown's total. That was a few weeks ago. Against the Patriots, they had Hunter Henry and Kayshon Boutte, I believe. Both go over 26.5 on their longest reception. Hunter Henry, 32. Kayshon Boutte, 33. KJ Osborne even got into the mix with 22. Last week, against the Packers, guess what we're going to see? Box score, longest reception, 67, 29, 51. That's 3 guys. 3 guys. Now, Tucker Kraft, tight end, long-ass catch. Cole Kmet had a long-ass catch. Hunter Henry had a long-ass catch. For some reason, the Jaguars are just very susceptible to the tight end breaking off a big one. What makes this even more appealing is that Dallas Goedert is out. So whoever their backup tight end is, who I'm not sure, the name's evading me right now, his line is not available on DraftKings for a longest reception. We're going to take A.J. Brown, obviously, like I mentioned. But there is no backup tight end on here. It's going to be low. It's going to be low because he's not Dallas Goedert. He's a backup. I forget his name. Can't remember it. If their line ever does come up, if you are watching this, go on your sports book. I use DraftKings. It's the only one I signed up for, and I'm lazy. But go to your sports book. If you can find the Eagles' backup tight end, whatever his longest reception is, I don't care what it is. No way it's over 20 yards. You take it. The past 3 weeks, a tight end against the Jaguars has gone over 30 yards on their longest reception of the day. It's going to be low because it's a backup tight end. So take that to also A.J. Brown, longest reception. We're all over. They had 3 guys. They've had at least 2 guys go over 26 receiving yards on their longest completion of the day for the past 4 weeks. So it's A.J. Brown, normal unit size, 20. I don't know if you can hear that, but there's girls screaming outside my apartment. It's Halloween weekend in Morgantown, West Virginia. Why am I not out? Because this is the time where you need to be in the lab. This is, these days, these holidays where everybody just coasts. They take it off. It's oh, I'm going to relax. I'm going to chill. Those are the most important days to be in the lab because you're getting that. If you work every day, you're already improving more than the average person. But on days where people just cake it because, oh, it's a holiday. What are you celebrating on Halloween? What are we celebrating? Miss me with that. If you don't live in a suburb with kids trick-or-treating, if you're not a kid or you don't have kids, what are we celebrating? It's just an excuse to fuck around, jack off, and do nothing. Where am I on Halloween in Morgantown, West Virginia, home of West Virginia University? Go Mountaineers, one of the biggest party schools on the planet, where everybody's active, everybody's outside. Should have seen this town today. Traffic was ridiculous. The place was buzzing. I'm placing bets. I'm looking at Joe Flacco against the Blitz. That's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at Joe Flacco against the Blitz because that's where we're going. Spoiler alert, he's good against the Blitz. That's where we're going. Minnesota, 5-point favorites. Sunday Night Football. You got me fucked up if you think I'm taking the Colts. Obviously, I'm not taking the Colts. That's not where I'm going with this. But I will be taking over 22.5 Joe Flacco completions. Now, we're just going to end this video with a straight vibes pick. The Vikings blitz the most in the NFL. Joe Flacco is surgical against the blitz. Before I do this, let's just not go straight vibes. Let's see how Joe Flacco his completion percentage has been very good, obviously, since he's just an absolute dog. And we even saw it with Gardner Minshew in this offense last year. A lot of quick passes, a lot of RPOs, and a lot of RPOs against this Vikings defense makes me think they're going to pass the ball a lot because the Vikings are averaging the least amount of rushing yards allowed per attempt in the NFL. So in an RPO-heavy scheme, I expect Joe to be getting that ball out quick. And let's just see, in the games Joe Flacco did play, Steelers, I think he completed over 20 ball. Oh, no, 16 for 20. That's not too good. Great defense, though. Didn't play the whole game. Against the Jaguars, he dotted the Jags up. 33 for 44. Bad defense, though. The Jaguars do have a bad defense. Did he play against the Titans? Or was it back? It was 22 completions. Great defense. Titans, great defense. Better defense statistically in yards allowed per game than the Minnesota Vikings. Give me Joe Flacco completions on Sunday Night Football. And that will do it for this episode of Sports Investing 101. Once this loads, we will go and look at my card for this Sunday. Obviously, I'm recording this Friday night, so lines are going to move a whole lot. But let's take a look at the bets I have placed. I am 10-6 in these sports investing videos. If I just stayed loyal to what I say in these videos, I'd be up and I would have had some green Sundays under my belt. Not a lot of green Sundays over the past few weeks. Had to take a break last Sunday, but we are all the way back. Paycheck went through. Rent's been paid. We're good to go. Let's take a look at these open bets. First bet, Joe Flacco, over 22.5 completions. Great against the blitz. Veteran guy. RPO heavy scheme. He's going to be getting the ball out quick. Over 26.5. Longest reception for A.J. Brown against the Jaguars. The Jaguars allow the second most yards after the catch in the NFL. And A.J. Brown's just a dog. He's a dog. This will happen. They've also allowed over at least 2 receivers with at least 26 yards on their longest completion of the day the past 5 games they've played. Yeah, that's a hammer. Giants +4, least confident bet of the slip, but 80% of the public is on Commanders plus the points. Giants red zone defense been pretty solid. Commanders red zone offense not very good. Divisional games, spread shouldn't be that close. Give me the Giants. Malik Neighbors over 70.5 receiving yards. Wide receiver ones against the Washington Commanders. 6 for 8 in going over their receiving yards total. Malik Neighbors had 18 targets last time he played the Commanders. I expect more of the same. I expect the Giants to be losing, playing from behind, throwing the ball to Malik, their best offensive player, and it's not really close. Josh Allen. It's all Josh Allen against the Dolphins. Over 1.5 passing touchdowns. He's only had less than 2 passing touchdowns against the Dolphins once in his career. Over 242.5 passing yards. He's gone over this in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of his last 6 games against Miami. Miami's offense should be all the way back. A week to settle in. Bad loss to the Cardinals. Season on the line. I think it's a throw your sink game at the Bills for Mike McDaniel, but Josh Allen just owns them. So I do think the Dolphins offense will be able to produce. I just think Josh Allen's going to have the answer because he owns them. And then our last 2 bets. Oh no, the only other bet, Atlanta Falcons -3 against the Cowboys. They're the better team. It's in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. No Deron Bland again. No Micah Parsons. Offensive line is good. Cardinals have the 5th highest EPA since week 4. Bijan's averaging 5 yards a carry since week 4. The Cowboys have the 2nd worst run defense in the NFL. Those are the plays. Those are the plays this weekend. Make sure you follow, like, subscribe. Listen to the podcast. I'm back. Hollow weekend. Where am I? Placing bets. Doing research. This is what I do. Lock it in. I'm excited. I love this board. These things jumped at me. The last one I did, I only saw 3 picks. That I liked. The board, I was forcing myself. I was really digging. I still went 2-1, obviously. That's what I do. I go positive. 10-6. I love the board. I love these plays. Thank you all for listening. If you made it this far, hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Share it with a friend. Follow the TikTok. Follow the Instagram. Follow me on Twitter. DSOC_____. Thank you, everybody, for listening. We'll catch you on the next episode of Sports Investing 101. Hit the subscribe button. I love you all.